What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, Fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah? Keep listening.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Your Show. All the love out to the great Von Trask from 9/11 Turbo fame for putting that little intro together. And I remember we got LB on the ones and twos today. My sweet, beautiful prince. Remember the first intros that we used for a while before we got a huge upgrade with that incredible banger that kicks off the show each and every weekday at 4 p.m. live right here on YouTube. My name is Gary. Happy Hump Day. This is the #1 ranked podcast on YouTube that features a guy who's overweight and looks like he's really let himself go, and a dog. Cornered the market, kind of like our all-star softball Dusty Diamonds world record we put up over on our Twitch stream over at twitch.com, Dufferin Ave Media. You can find us there. We have 2 world record holders right now. We're going to be chasing a bunch more speed run world records, which is very exciting. Speaking of that dog, that's got us all the way up to #1 in that very exclusive category. Let's check in and see what old Margaret's doing right now with a Maggie cam. There she is. God. You know, at about this point of the day, she's usually done a lot of running around, chasing a lot of wasps. Got wasps in the back. I always yell at her, Margaret, don't eat the wasps. They're going to get you. But she's usually pretty good at chomping them. So far, so good in that category. The Maggie Cam for our fantastic friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Maggie's boyfriend Leroy is over there every day. So happy to greet you along with his parents. Mike and Rochelle, amazing human beings, as well after hours and over the weekends. Kirsten, Shar, and Chris are there to help you have the greatest pet shopping experience of your life. I promise you. I know from experience. They're the best in the biz at what they do. That's our good friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer, as Margaret slowly drifts off to a nice little puppy nap here for the next hour. And then when she wakes up, she knows it's supper time. So she gets really pumped up once we are done with the live show. Oh, man. We're 1 week away. 1 week from this very moment, we will be celebrating the 100th episode of Your Show here at the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. And it's pretty cool as we have a little group text. I'm not a big group text guy. I've said it numerous times on this very show. I can't stand them. I'm in way too many of them. But our little damn one is very fun when we get sort of landmarks to enjoy and celebrate, and we've had a bunch of cool ideas for the 100th episode, so it's going to be a very special day next Wednesday here on the 100th edition of Your Show. Also on Wednesdays, we have another tradition. We check in with our buddy, our pal, our good friend from the land down under. Doesn't like Vegemite sandwiches, doesn't like Foster's beer. That's how you know he's truly Australian. Saskatoon boy, moved to the other side of the world and has a lovely family there now. He talks, he speaks to people in big groups. He's also an author. Teams that swear by each other, not about each other, is the book. We call him Coach #1 around here. His real name is Adrian Balarjan. Let's check in on how he's doing today. There he is, Coach #1. How are you, old friend?
Jim, I must admit, I feel like Maggie.
You a little sleepy over there?
So comfortable, just sleeping. I was in Perth this week, which is on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
It's a 4-hour flight. The flight got delayed 3.5 hours coming back. So when you come back from Perth, it's a 6-hour time change. Anyways, I think I got in about 6.5 hours ago. Came home, wind down a bit.
Dude, so you're going on no sleep. You're just... Well, I guess you picked the perfect day for this, because you mentioned last week that you wanted to sort of do a little role reversal, which we totally can do. But before we get there, what was going on in Perth? Were you guys traveling for ball, or what was it?
No, I was there for some working with rugby WA, or Rugby Western Australian. So the sporting association for rugby over there. And they've got a new executive team. So I was out there with Simon Taylor and his crew for a day and a half. And it was a fantastic place. And I stayed in this hotel. I didn't realize there. I get there Monday night. The flight was delayed 2.5 hours getting there. So I've spent a lot of time in the airport. And I get there at night. You jump in an Uber, you get in your hotel. And I'm going, I'm hungry. I need to get something. So I'm jump on Google Maps. I've got no idea where I am in Perth. Jump on Google Map. Okay. Oh, there's a supermarket across the street. I'll go get my breakfast and that sort of thing there. And I look, I'm right on the beach.
Oh.
Like literally right. The hotel is on the beach. It was absolutely stunning. So it was 23 degrees that next morning. So it was a great way to kick off the next day when I got there. And yeah, Perth was beautiful.
Is it, so 23 degrees sounds sort of like, for me personally, that's the perfect temperature. I love that. Is that sort of where you're at? Or do you like the mid to high 30s like a lot of people out there?
No, man, give me 25, 26,
right.
27 and life is good. Yeah.
How long does it stay like that for before it heats back up?
Right now, like that's their winter weather.
Yeah.
So again, come November, December, yeah, they'll be back
Yeah,
up
going.
mid 30s.
Okay. Yeah. I remember, man. I told this story before when we were staying in Coogee, and it was like plus 42 or something, and the beach was shut down, and us being the dumb Canadians, like, why did they shut the beach down such a hot day? And then you try to get down there and you can't even make it to the beach because it's so hot. And then once you're on the sand, it's burning you up. And it gets so hot that you can't even hit the beach sometimes out there, which is always an interesting thing. I also appreciate that it's not just Canada that has issues with all of their flights and airlines nowadays, hey?
Oh my goodness. Anyways, it's a good thing about Wi-Fi. You can get some work done, but we were delayed 3 hours. Then we get on the plane. So everybody's kind of grumpy, tired. They want to go.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the announcement, the pilot, and you could tell he did not want to share this message. He's like, I just have to give you a heads up. We've got an electrical issue, and the engineers are looking at it right now, but it's going to be at least another hour.
Oh, after you boarded the plane.
After we boarded the plane.
Man, it's
Anyways,
almost like the world, like the universe doesn't want anyone to travel. That's what it's starting to feel like again. And we don't get political, we don't get religious around here. I will say, when they make it so hard to fly that you don't even want to try to do it, something must be up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not touching on it. I just want to get that out there and tell.
They just wanted to, yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Just
good idea.
Yeah, airlines get it together, all right? Let's just help each other out. As we are hanging out with author, speaker, and all-around good old Saskatoon boy, Adrian Blars, and we call him Coach Number One here. He's one of my bestest and most favoriteest coaches growing up as a Cardinal playing baseball here in the city. Now, I'll just flip it over to you, old friend, and you take it away. Where are we going with this?
All right, here we go. So one of the activities that we'll do with that I'll run with leadership teams, and this is more to get to understand people so they can create a deeper connection, because often people in the corporate space, half the time they're working from home now, so that for them to actually create a relationship is a little bit of a challenge when you're not working in the same place. And typically executive teams spend more time with the team that they lead than with the team that they're actually part of. So we spend a lot of time on just even getting to know each other. So one of the activities we run is called the Map of Life. And I get people to draw out how they become who they are today.
Wow.
And it's fascinating because some people start, I was born, I've got two brothers, I've got mom and dad. Others, all of a sudden they go, oh yeah, I have one sister. And then when I went to high school, I just skip, 15 years of life. Anyway, so it's quite fascinating. So what I wanted to do today with you, Gary, was I didn't get you to draw anything, but like I said last time we saw each other, I don't know, it might have been when you were in year 8 or grade 8. And then next thing you know, I come to Saskatoon for a visit, and you're on the sides of buses, you're up on the big signs there on the freeways and everything. Oh, what the hell's happened here? So I would love to know, how did you get into radio?
Beautiful.
Like, how did you become so famous in Saskatoon?
Well, first and foremost, I am not famous. I just, on that one point, I can tell you, when my boss came in, you spend your whole life growing up thinking how awesome, how cool it would be to be on a billboard or to be on a bus. And I had that rude awakening moment of being told that it was actually happening. And I did the photo shoot. And even then I was like, I don't really like this. And then I saw the bus for the first time, and it's like just a giant picture of me like doing like Hulk Hogan poses and stuff. It's like this is the worst stuff. And I despised it to the point that we had to do another bus photo shoot. And I told my boss, I said, I'm not doing this. Like it's horrendous. I hate it. It's embarrassing. It's too much. It's not for me. And in the business, most people are all about themselves because you sort of have to be in that position. And I've told you before, that's what's made it really hard for me to sort of try to be a radio host, because it was never about me. And if you don't like the attention being put on yourself, having a bus driving around with your face is not like the best way to go about it. So I told my boss I didn't want to do it. And then luckily I had Maggie with me. And I said, what if we put Maggie on the bus? And he says, well, you know what? That might work. Okay. So we did a photo shoot with Maggie, which I thought was great, but they still put my face beside it. So now I actually have a picture. It's one of the 3 things I kept from the old job in my house right now that I put up. It's a picture of Maggie on the bus. And there's a big thing that says Maggie, the 3-legged rock dog. And it's very cool. So that was sort of our compromise there. But I never, ever wanted to be on any of those things because it was always just like, it's too much for me. It seemed weird. And it's funny that people like you said, we haven't seen each other for years and years and years. And for you to see something like that, it would look like, oh man, this guy's doing really good. And he's all about self-promotion and putting himself out there. And it's sort of misleading in that way because it was such a struggle for me. And that was sort of an ongoing thing as that job transitioned from radio host to social media host. And that's sort of how we started planning my way out of there. But as far as getting into radio, and this is a great story that I used to tell, we used to do tours that would go through the old radio station. And one of my favorite tours was it was like the accelerated science class from one of the schools in town. So all like the really, really smart kids who are like a couple grades above where they should be, or I guess, yeah, where you should be age-wise. And they would come in about once every 6 months, and the teacher, really good dude, he would always make me end the tour by telling them how I got into radio. So we won't bore you with all the other stuff, but basically I was plumbing for the greatest plumbing company in the world, Nickel Plumbing and Heating. Hit them up. If you have any plumbing or heating issues, I promise you they will make them better. And I was on a call. I had like the big 150-pound snake that I was hauling down into a basement. And this basement had about a good, 2 feet of water, which was not water. It was just all sewage. And I had my boots on, and I hit the last couple of steps, and I'm just tired. I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? I can't stand plumbing. This is the worst. Then I hit the ground, and as I hit the ground, I started moving forward with my momentum, and I took another step, and I stepped on probably, without a doubt, was a number 2 right there, and it sent me slipping and sliding across a basement with an entire floor covered in sewage. And as I'm doing this, when I got one leg in the air, like doing this, I'm like, oh no. And I'm going for about a good 3 feet sliding like that, thinking this is it. This is going to be my new story I tell everyone. And out of some divine intervention, everything stopped. And I caught myself, and I put the snake down by the drain. And I went back out to the truck, and I called Dad. And I said, Dad, I don't think plumbing's for me. I'd like to go to broadcasting school. And he said, okay, son, let's do it. And that was basically how I got into radio, was sliding across a flooded basement. And every time I tell that story to the kids, they would just lose it laughing.
So did you have, that's a big jump from somebody's basement. And let's even take the basement out, from plumbing to broadcast school.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if there's a connection there, kind of going, oh, I kind of like this part of plumbing. And then that's kind of the same as in broadcast school. Well, where did the broadcast school desire come from?
So now we can get into the actual map here. When I was growing up with 2 older brothers and a younger sister, Mom and Dad, living over on Dufferin Avenue, hence this whole thing that we started, spent my whole life over there. Growing up, we got, and I say it all the time, like I'm one of the most privileged, most spoiled kids in the world, and I'll never deny that. And that's sort of part of the reason why I wanted to start this place, was to give, all of my friends who I see working so hard, I want to give them a little bit of that feeling, like, you're doing good, and here's a place for you to do even better, because that's sort of what my upbringing was. And we had a satellite TV, and we had ESPN on there. And not only ESPN, we also had ESPN News. And this was right about the time when all of the sportscasters started turning into the people that you sort of see today. Like it was the first real transition from a robot coming on, reading you sports. Like Fred McGriff had 2 base hits today in the big game. Going from that to big, did you see Fred McGriff? Watch the crime dog jack this one out. He's gone. You know, the Stuart Scotts. Okay, like Stuart Scott was one of my favorite of all time. Not just like sportscasters, but like just dudes. Stuart Scott, and he's one of those guys where you remember when they pass away. Like he went through a big cancer thing and no one really knew. And I was in the Dominican Republic at a bar. And I remember seeing it was like breaking news. Stuart Scott passes away. And I cried. I legit cried out of nowhere right there in this bar in the Dominican Republic of all places. Because I had built this connection with Stuart Scott and Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick was my other guy. The Dan Patrick Show. Like watching those guys come on every morning before school, I get caught up on all my sports stuff. And I was laughing the whole time. And it was so cool. And Stuart Scott went on to do Stump the Schwab, which was one of my like favorite shows ever with ESPN. It was just like sports trivia. And he was a host of that. And these guys were changing the game. And I didn't even know it at the time. I just knew that these were the guys that I wanted to read me my sports. These were the guys I wanted to present to me what happened the night before. And as I was growing up and playing Cardinals baseball and playing Bobcats hockey here in town, I soon realized that apparently I was really good back in the day, and then I broke my arm 3 times in like a year and a half. And it wasn't just you that gave me the benefit of the doubt with our tryouts to put me on the A team, even though I didn't really belong there. Bobcats as well, I had a season where the year before I was tier 1, like, yeah, you're good to go, broke my arm, came back, and then my parents say I was too scared to go into the boards. I became sort of a wuss because I got beat up so bad, and I lost my drive. And they said, you could have went places. Like, it's highly doubt that. Thank you for thinking that, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. But after I broke my arm that year, I still made tier 1. I missed tryouts because I broke my arm first day of tryouts. And then I came back and I scored 1 goal, and I kept the puck that year. I remember 1 goal for an entire season. So I realized my tier 1 days were over, and that was sort of when I decided, you know what? There's no way I'm going to make it being an athlete. I love sports so much. What do I do? And then it just clicked. Be a broadcaster. Become a sportscaster. So I wanted to host a sports show. That was my dream. So then I went out and I worked at Pizza Hut for a bit. I actually did a thing at the Avalon Mohawk there, our local gas station. I did a work ed thing there, which was very fun, working with the Forsties. So that was good. And I did a couple of things, worked Sport Check, I think, as well, and Nevada Bob's for work ed in school. And I did all these things. And then eventually it went to the plumbing stuff. And that was when the transition happened. I said, Dad, it's time to go to school. I can't plumb. I'm sorry. This is not for me. So that was sort of how we got there.
So you go to broadcast school. Yeah. And then how do you and Maggie end up on the side of the bus? There's a little bit of a gap there. Yeah. That's the next chapter, isn't it?
Exactly. So first was heading on over to WABC here in town, the great Don Scott and his crew over there. That's why I put this up every day. I have this, and sometimes it gets hidden. But this is my Western Academy Broadcasting College. I don't know, it's probably not close enough, but it says there, Western Academy Broadcasting College, this student card verifies that Gary Nickel is enrolled as a full-time student for the 2001 and 2002 school year. So that's sort of my credentials. I like to put them up here right beside me every day so people know I'm in business. Like that. There it is. So with that there you go. I go to school. And in broadcasting school, it's all about reps, just like anything else. And that was the greatest strength of WABC is you'd have your book, and you'd take your book home every day, and you read all your stuff, and you'd record it into your cassette recorder, and then you bring your cassette in the next day, and everyone would go over the work, and we'd all talk about it. And you do that over and over. Then you do newscasts as well. So one day you're doing news stuff, one day you're doing DJ stuff, and back and forth. And to the great Don Scott's credit, I told him, I was like, I don't want to be no DJ. Are you kidding me? I'm a sports guy. I'm going to be a sports broadcaster. And he's like, I think you'd be pretty good as a DJ. I'm like, nope, never going to do it. And so we go on. Then I stopped doing the books because I think the books are dumb. And I didn't study. I was a horrible student. And Don, we had a final, and I think I got like a 34% on the final. I didn't study a wink.
Ooh.
And so I went in, and Don Scott tells me, Gary, it's a horrible, horrible final exam. You got 34%. Not really impressed with anything that you're doing, but we got you an internship in Rosetown. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So off to 13, 30, 12, 10 out in Rosetown, and doing that up for a bit. I had an internship. So I was doing news and sports there, and they call it back in the old rip and tear days, where you'd print off your news stories and you'd rip them off the printer or tear them off and then put them up, and then you staple together your newscast, and that's how you read them. And within like the first month, the person that was running the newsroom was, I believe, let go. So I went from having an internship to still being an intern, but also being the only person running the newsroom in Rosetown. And that was a bad idea, because I was fresh out of school. I had no business being in any position where I'm making decisions about stuff, especially news. So that goes pretty bad. And they keep me on for another 6-month internship. So I'm living in Rosetown.
I was wondering, did you move to Rosetown, or did you do the commute every day?
I started doing the commute, which was a lot of fun, but that's the busiest highway for deer and elk and all that passing back and forth, that highway out to Rosetown. So every morning I was just dealing with all the tough driving, and it'd be morning shift. So I'd be hitting the road like 4 a.m. and pretty active wildlife. So eventually we got a place there that I was renting and had no AC. So we get up to like 50 some degrees in there every day. It was just horrible. And I wasn't getting paid. And they kept me around just long enough for another unpaid internship until I realized, well, this isn't working out. And they let me go. They said, no, you're not the guy for this. I was like, yeah, I agree. I'm not really happy with where that was going. So that was round one. And then I regroup in Saskatoon. And then I saw an opening for a news and sports broadcaster in beautiful Slave Lake, Alberta, of all places. Cat Country KWA in Slave Lake, Alberta. And my meeting for that, the program director was in Saskatoon for a wedding. So we had a little impromptu meeting at like a Best Western over on Idlewild or something. And he's like, yeah, like we talked for like 2 minutes. And he's like, yeah, you're good. Let's go, get you out there. So all of a sudden, like there was no interview process. And that's the beauty of those small town radio stations, is they know what they are. They're those stepping stones. They're bringing these people in who need to get reps, who need to get better. So pack up the old Crown Vic, and out to Slave Lake, Alberta we go. And I spent...
Now, was this a job?
This was a job. So this was my first paying radio gig.
First paid gig.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Here we
doing
go.
news and sports in Slave Lake. And I get there, and it's different. It's very different. We're talking way up north. It was a crazy place. A lot of crazy stuff happened, and we went through a lot there. And eventually, we ran our course with that one. And that was when I decided it was time to go to Australia. My buddy Doobie and my buddy Benny and I were like, well, you know what? Gary, you're in the middle of a job. You don't got nothing going on. Let's go see the world, because you're supposed to go travel. It's like, all right. Had no money. And I just said, let's do it. And we hop on a plane and we go down. And I spent 3 months in beautiful, beautiful Australia, going down the east coast there, the southern east coast, and making our way to Rosebud and working in the vineyards and creating all sorts of memories. And then I got an email while I was in Australia from the program director for 650 CKOM. And I talked to him for
So what year was this? What's
This
the
was
timeline?
2004.
Stamp on this.
So we just celebrated New Year's. We were at the big bridge, the biggest fireworks in the world. We were right there in Sydney Harbor. It was fantastic. Still have pictures somewhere in a box here. That it was a great day. And then I'd heard from the great Kurt Levins, and he says, we got a spot for you. We're going to be starting a sports show here soon, and we want you to be a part of it. So come on home. So then I call the greatest dad in the universe, my pops, and I say, Dad, I'm coming home. I got a job at 650. He's like, no way. That's great. By the way, I need money to make it to the airport and to get a flight and to get home. It's a classic ongoing theme. Dad, I need money. And never miss it. Like, you got it. Let's get you home. So I hop on the plane, and February 1st of 2004, I started my first shift at News Talk 650 CKOM. And I was part-time for about a year and a half. And then they threw me on full time as a technical producer with the Drew Remenda Sports Show, it was called. The great Drew Remenda, who was doing color for the San Jose Sharks, great Saskatoon boy, all the way down. And I'm all about universal signs and, synchronicities and, the universe saying this is a thing. Drew became my mentor at work. He became my go-to guy. And I later find out that he has the exact same birthday as my dad. How crazy is that? April 13th.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I can celebrate both my dads every year, which was great. And Drew and I formed this bond that is still so strong to this day. And we ran that show for a long time.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you say you're a technical producer?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So a technical producer is the guy who's behind the board. So you get the guys on the air, you run the mics, you answer the phones, you put the phone calls on, you work the texts. You're basically doing all the technical stuff. Like LB right now producing this show in here, he's our tech producer right now.
Gotcha.
And so that's sort of it. Then eventually I grew into a content producer, which books all the guests. And that's sort of something like we could talk about that next time. The stories that I got from producing that sports show. Like I got stories about Phil Esposito telling me to F off. I got Jeremy Roenick basically telling me I'm the world's biggest idiot and making me feel like a dumb. Like we have all these stories, and we can get to another time. But doing that sports show was the best time of my life. And to this day, like Drew shaped the broadcaster I have become. And it's right down to the point where, a lot of the things that he does still at his job is sort of frowned upon. Those are the things I do here. Like I want to do this the way he does it. And a lot of people, being for or against it, I don't know. But sometimes it can rub people the wrong way when you're just so real. You're just honest. Like honesty is such a lost art when it comes to this business. And he's very firm on just going out and being honest and speaking what you think. And lots of people can't do that anymore. So we bring a lot of that here. So a lot of the stuff I do and say are because of the great Drew Remenda. And so from there, then the sports show left, and then they put me in the newsroom. And in the newsroom, I was doing, I think I did 7 different jobs. I was a reporter, I was a producer, I did traffic, I did the internet editing, I hosted, and I tech produced as well as did commercial voicing. We all like to joke, I did every single job that you can do in a newsroom before they realize you aren't meant for the newsroom. And that's what it was. So I spent 13 years in that newsroom forming some of the best friendships and relationships I've ever formed in my life. And to this day, I don't know if you noticed this, but this is why I'll never, ever say a bad word about that place, is because it was over half of my life I spent in that building forming these relationships. And to this day, still a lot of my friends, so many of my friends are still working there. And I love every single one of them. And I appreciate everything that building did for me, including, and this was the biggest moment, which I think is sort of the cherry on top here. Not me, the program director decided that I would be a good fit for FM radio because mostly there was nowhere else they could put me. And I'm a guy who's just happy to be there. I like to say I'm a glue guy. I'll never be look at me, but I always say, look at how good this guy is doing. Like, this is my dude. You seeing this guy is killing it. Yeah. And so
but what's the difference? Like, there's an AM guy and an FM guy.
Yes. So FM is music radio. So that's like the C95s, the Rock 102s. The AM is the 650, the 980s, those things. So like talk radio compared to music radio. And so they decided to put me behind the mic on the old Rock 102, and off we went for another about 6 years. And I say all the time, the 2 biggest moments of my career were when they took me out of that newsroom and put me in front of that microphone on Rock 102. That was the biggest. And the second biggest was when they let me go. Because then I could chase this dream. I spent enough time there knowing exactly what I, as a viewer, as a listener, would want to consume as media. And that's what we're bringing here. And I feel like there's a lot of people like me who aren't made for that old way, who are much more about being inclusive and being together and doing what we're doing here. And that's sort of how we got to this point. I think that's the map right there. In a half hour, there you go.
Man, I love that. Thanks for sharing that, man. That is,
dude, that was like therapeutic.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, how was that sharing that? Because not often do we sit there and actually reflect and think, how have I gotten to where I am today? And
Yeah.
ooh, actually, there's things that you think of at the time. You're like, totally forgot about that, but that was a big moment for me.
You know, I honestly, right in this very moment, feel so grateful and so thankful for all of that because we all say whenever people ask if you would change anything that you've done or has happened to you over your life, and the common answer is no, because without those things happening, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the person I am now. You got to go through all those struggles to, get to the pot of gold. And now that we're sitting here, it's like you wouldn't want it any other way because you wouldn't be in the position you're in.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's and hearing your story. So this is an example. It's like we've got a connection. Like you're saying, I'm going, oh, that was me. I didn't like going in the corners either in hockey.
I'll never forget. What was Adam Merck, I think was his name. He put me in the wrong way and my arm just cracked and I missed all the tryouts. And I also will never forget my coach is wondering, where did all that skill go? Where's that talent? And it's funny when you're making that transition into body contact, because that was the first year of body contact. And I was so nervous rolling into Pee Wee. And sure enough, if you go in scared, that's exactly what happens. You can't go in like that.
Oh, and like at least you had an excuse. Like you broke your arm. I just didn't I didn't feel comfortable at all going in the corners, and you'd slow up. So the other guy got there first, and I feel like, and we had guys like Bobby Gibson.
Yeah, Bobby.
And actually, a big shout out to his family because Coach Don
passed away. I heard
passed
that.
away.
Yeah.
But
Love the Gibson.
Yeah. And lots of rides to hockey in the big brown Suburban.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating hearing your story, Gary, because it's
Dude,
I'd love to know. Can we keep talking about this, or do you have?
I did
more
have a
important-
pre-tape. Let's go. We can go one more, and then we'll get into that pre-tape, and we'll run out here. We've got to save some for next
I'm just
week.
checking the time too.
Yeah, we went long. That's
Yeah,
crazy
okay,
how
cool.
fast that goes.
Oh man, that flew by. I was just like, tell me more. I'd love to explore more why you don't like being on the getting the photo shoot and getting your message out, because that's how I look at it. It's like, how would you reframe that, right?
Yeah.
Right, as a positive versus negative. But let's park that for now. That's
You're showing
we're
a
gonna
lot
go
of these techniques that I've been learning about in your book, young man. You be careful there. No, we will get into that next week because I think there's a lot there too, and I'm really enjoying how therapeutic this is. So I appreciate the time, my friend, and thank you for walking me through all of that. And we'll do part 2 next week, and we'll delve into why I don't ever want anything to be about myself, because I'm sure there's a lot there.
well, yes. And I'm not a psychologist, but it'd be interesting just to
Absolutely,
we can dig in a
brother.
little bit, Gary. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, good stuff,
Hey,
man.
Thank you so much again. His name is Adrian Balarjon. He's got the book right here. I didn't even have it in the right frame. I'm going to put it here the rest of the show. Right there. Teams that swear by each other, not about each other. You can pick it up. It's literally been... I was telling my dad this morning, this book could not have come at a better time because everything in it I'm incorporating into this business that we're starting, and it's so much good stuff. So be sure to check that out, pick it up. Say hi to everyone for us, brother, and have a great Australian day. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, see you, big man.
Coach number 1. Oh, I love that guy. Woo! LB. How about that, hey? Digging deep. That was very good. That's why we get him on. Not just because incredible author, incredible speaker, but he can guide conversations. It's what he does. So a lot of love out to the great Adrian Balarjon. As well to our buddies over at PropertyGuys.com. My main man, Dax, he's there to help you out with all of that stuff that goes on with PropertyGuys.com. Our friends at Aquaman Limited as well, and many, many more. If you want to join the team, we pop one of these up for you right now because we got shows, man. Bamford and Co. podcast. Oh, it's lower. There it is. New episode out today. Be sure to check that out as they got a lot of cool stuff going on as well. If you want to advertise with us or if you have an event coming up that you need promoted, anything that you need to help you out, we are here for you, all right? Social media stuff, we got a girl for that. Wendy Brooks Media. Very, very, very cool lady who can help you figure out all of those exciting things. So I had mentioned a pre-tape that we wanted to get to. I didn't think we'd be going so long with Coach number 1 there, but it was such a good conversation. Every now and then we have a seasonal show that we tease. Not sure when it will drop. It's an audio-only show called The Water Sliding Bros. And on that show, I'm joined by co-host, my buddy Benji, and my other buddy Seahawk, a.k.a. the Sea Dog, a.k.a. Callum Oliver. And if you know this dude at all, he's one of the funniest, most incredible dudes. And whenever he rolls through, we just hop in the studio real quick. He stops by, and we do a little chat, an episode, if you will, for The Water Sliding Bros. And we also like to show it here on your show because it is your show, and he is our Prince Albert representative for the Dufferin Ave Media Network. So he's up there representing us. So we always like to get him on the live show to say hello and catch up and tell us what's going on. So I think it was a couple of weekends ago he came by and we had a little chat, and we're going to play that for you now. So please enjoy. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go. That's tasty.
That's refreshing, man.
The water sliding, bro.
It's the water sliding boys.
Woo! We're back.
Water sliding boys or water sliding
We're the
bros?
bros. No, because
The
we're the bros.
That's right.
It's a
I like-
seasonal. What is it? It's a seasonal series.
It's a sessional.
Tell everyone, yes.
It's a seasonal, or we like to call it sessional.
Sessional seasonal.
Sessional happens.
Whenever
you
he
know-
comes through town, basically, we get to record, and it's a lot
That's
of fun.
right. Whenever
Yeah,
it comes through town.
that's it. We have an audio-only series that will be out whenever the season begins.
I think
gonna be
right now
fun.
is the summer season. So yeah.
Yes, we'll be loading into that. And we basically come on here and promote the Water Sliding Bros whenever the Seahawk rolls through town. One more cheers. I'm so happy to see you.
Cheers.
It's always, I'm always so stressed out. I'm like, oh, man. Oh, I love Mountain Dew. I mean, we're not sponsored, but I love this stuff. Needs more sugar. But it's like Sea Dog's in town, and then you just showed up. Like, I was napping on the couch. Like, I'm just waking up now.
I knocked twice.
Yeah, I was out cold.
Knock, 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 knock.
Napping all weekend.
I could hear.
trying
I
to
could hear
catch
the
up on some
TV
sleep.
going in there. I'm like, I think he's in there.
Gotta be in there.
Yeah, I saw his car on the curb. I know he's in there. I'm gonna give it one more
curb.
time. Knock, 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 knock.
That's when I was like, what? I look over. Like, no way. Maggie's still fast asleep. I'm like, what the heck, guard dog? Hey, like, way to wake up.
Aw.
We almost missed it. That would have been horrible if I missed it. Hey, how was your visit into town?
It's been excellent. We came in for a family reunion.
Shout out the family.
Yes, absolutely.
All of them.
It was the Lucy Cision clan.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a fun
So
name.
yeah, it was good. I met some new relations. I
New
saw
family
some
members.
old, some
That's nice.
some other immediate family. I don't know. I always feel a little bit like, what do you expect when you go to?
You got to see a
a
lot of
family
people.
reunion.
A lot of people. That's all my anxieties rolled into one. It's so scary for me.
Who are you going to speak to? Like,
I just hide in the corner and hope no one notices me.
yeah.
It's bad. But I have a problem. You're an outgoing guy. You're a master's teacher. You know what's up. You're right there with He-Man and like masters.
I think you want to be inviting and social.
Of course. Kind,
saying hello to
open,
people.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was great. Learn a little bit of family history. Got to stay in mom and dad's. Saw the brothers.
Nice. How
Yeah.
many did you see?
Let me think here. Oof. I saw 3 of my brothers.
Only 3? Wasn't this a
Yeah.
family
Oh,
reunion?
people. No. This wasn't my family. That's my wife's.
Oh, okay.
My
Oh,
wife's
so,
family.
Yeah.
That's the Lucy Shins.
That's what I get.
Lucians.
Yeah. Yep. I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, my one of my brothers had big news.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Is he coming on your show?
I got a couple brothers that would love to come on your show.
You're supposed to be our talent as the representative for the Dufferin Avenue Media
Yeah,
Network,
yeah.
talent scout for your show, localized satellite
Sure.
through Prince Albert. I know you have a couple good leads of your brothers who should come on this show. Sam,
Oh,
what do you think those
absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And you know what? 2 of them are already doing like YouTube. And,
candidates? Really funny stuff. Really funny stuff. Like really good.
Oh, I know you're
We gotta
talking about
get him
Mr. Wigglesworth. Okay, let me finish my
Wigglesworth,
thought
Mr.
back there.
Wigglesworth.
Okay, so here's my brother's big news. He's getting engaged.
Oh, congratulations!
So
I thought it was
so
gonna
that's
be
a nice treat.
cigarette juice.
Cigarette juice?
Yeah, Tim and Eric, awesome show. You ever seen that? Oh, dude.
Haven't seen it.
So they have a skit they do with a guy called Oops Spaghetti. I always talk about Spaghetti. It's very funny.
Oh.
And then Spaghetti gets a sponsorship with cigarette juice. And on his
Oh,
commercial,
yeah.
he goes, "Good news, cigarette juice." And that's the whole thing. Sorry, just doing the do out here. You can tell it's a weekend. You can tell it's a weekend edition of catching up with the Water Sliding Bros. Seahawk in the house.
That's right.
That's called a professional reset in the biz. I love doing that. They say every about 2 to 3 minutes you have to reintroduce the person you're talking to, so people watching or listening at home audibly. Do you know you can get this on anywhere you get audio podcasts?
I've looked it up
crazy.
in one place. I've looked it up on Spotify.
You can get it on Amazon,
And it was
Spotify, Apple Music, Google Books,
Google
all
Birds?
sorts of Google Birds, all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
It's crazy. You can find the show. So if you're listening and not watching, you can't really tell by my outfit. But I'm wearing my robe with no
You're
shirt
black.
under.
Yeah, black on.
I'm the man in black.
You
And
know
I got
what-
my
you know what my
underwear on.
girls-
I'll be honest. I got my underwear.
My girls, they, I always hit the hot tub with bathrobe on too.
Oh, it's the best.
You're
move.
like, Laura's like, he's wearing his Hugh Hefner. Always in a bathrobe. This is Gary Nickel. He's wearing his Hugh Hefner.
Did I give
It's
you?
crushed velvet.
Did I give
black.
you one yet? Did I give you one to take home?
No.
Okay, you're getting one.
Yes.
Every guest on the show goes home with one of these classic
Oh,
Your Show
really?
robes. You
Really?
betcha. Feel how soft it is. Feel that. And yes, it's as
Yeah.
soft as it looks. And it's like on inside, it's like that too. These are incredible. You're going home with one.
Perfect timing, because
You're
I've been
about to
hitting
do
up
some
the
tubbing.
water
Yeah,
a lot.
That's it. It's basically a towel that you wear. It's the coolest thing.
You don't even need to bring a towel if you go swimming.
Yeah, this is it.
It's like your overcoat.
I have some old robes in there
Yeah.
that I use to mop up the condensation water that comes out of the portable air conditioning
Yeah.
unit. It's pretty sweet.
My-
It soaks up. Before I was using like old socks, and there would be like a big pile of old socks
Oh,
and stuff.
gross.
Like, well, 'cause they didn't have any like old dirty rags around. So then I was like,
Gotcha.
screw this. One robe does it all. It's like the quicker picker upper. It's just like drop down one robe. You don't need anything else. These things just soak it up.
Well, isn't that its purpose? Is to like
Yeah, that's what
It's
I
like a
mean. It's awesome.
sponge.
That's why I love them.
keeps you warm.
I have a lot of them for all of our guests. You get to, if you don't, you have to ask for it though. For future guests, if you don't ask for it, I won't remember because I'm dumb. So you have to ask for it.
Take me
He
to
didn't
the
ask, but
closet.
This guy's, yeah,
Well,
we'll get
here,
it.
here, cheers again, my man.
Cheers. It's a lot of good cheers. See Hawking. I love
On-
these weekend recordings.
on the
These are
beach.
so nice.
This summer. Funny that you bring up your robe. My nephew rolls out to Wascatina Beach.
Wascatina.
Yeah, beauty beach. The dog part there. I take my new puppy. I got to tell you about my new puppy. Anyways, so we're hitting the day on the beach, and Joseph is like rolling in. He is like over 6 feet tall, maybe, and he's been wearing this bathrobe to the beach since like in the last 2 years or 2 seasons, right?
Okay.
So it's a little bit short on him now, and we called it the terry cloth blazer because it only went up to his like hips. It was so funny, man.
Was this a woman's robe?
Oh no, it was like a robe like what you're wearing,
But it's short.
but very short, white. This one was an old white one.
Oh, nice.
It looked like it had picked up its fair share of, spills
Yeah,
on the floor.
For sure. It's done its job a
Yeah.
couple times.
It's rolled around.
It's an MVP.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
It's being dropped on the floor.
Hang him up in the rafters, man.
Anyways, yeah. So
Hang him up
Yeah,
in the
Joseph
rafters in
was-
a steamer
Joseph
at the
was,
YMCA.
he was repping the terry cloth blazer.
Oh, terry cloth. What's a terry cloth?
I think it's
Cheers,
like
by the way.
I think it's like cheers.
I know on Rick and Morty they had terry flaps.
A terry cloth, I think it's made out of cotton, like longer cotton.
Okay. So it's like longer cotton.
And
So
I think it's a
scruffier.
very wealthy type of cloth.
Oh, okay. So it's the rich man's
Yeah,
cloth. Like,
this is
like
this
gout.
is more like retro crushed velvet.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's warm. And
Yeah.
it's cozy. It's like a nice little hug with a cloud.
Oh, Okay, last time I was on, I was a little cold in the garage, right?
Yeah, you were.
I was
I
chilling.
remember that.
And I picked up Uncle Mike's swag he left here. His zipped up hoodie, and I love zip up hoodies.
Dude,
And dude, I've been rocking that thing all summer. And
as
you know
a
what the
member
best
of this
part?
team, you're representing all the time.
I love the smell of it. It lasted for like 3 weeks of just like a real nice scent. Smell this hat. I think that hat's coming home with me today.
It smells like Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
It's so fresh.
I'm gonna hit up the store.
You know what you got to do?
I think I'm ready to get the deodorant.
When people ask you about your hat or your bunny hug, you sell them. You sell them.
Yes. Yeah.
You sell them. Hey, damn20. That's
Damn
promo
20?
code. Use the promo code at unclemikesnatural.com.
Yes. I went
Damn20
on the
gets you
website.
20% off, bro.
There is so
20%
many
off.
soaps, man.
20% off.
20% off. All right, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. It's just, you're going to spend it anyway. You're going to buy it.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards this bar soap that has orange in it.
I want
Something
bar soap
citrus.
for the hair. That's what I'm going to get. Maybe we'll do a double order.
Bulk.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you get free shipping on your first order.
Uncle Mike's good like that.
Yeah, I just looked it up the other week. For real. I'm like, this is for real.
Man.
And
you
I think there is another promo for
Bro,
first time.
I didn't even tell you this yet. We have
What's
a
that?
video. We have a video of Uncle Mike water sliding.
Yes. Oh, where is this tube?
It's the shoe swap. It's on their boat. On their motor.
Oh yeah. Oh, it goes into the water
Isn't that awesome?
too.
Look at him.
Yes. Yes.
That's Uncle Mike. Isn't he the best?
Oh,
Is it the same one, you think?
I loved how it was covered. Yeah.
He's more of a water sliding.
The G-force on his face.
He's more of a water sliding bro than we'll ever
Oh,
be. That's amazing,
Oh.
dude.
that's gonna be the top
So
water
good.
slide footage I've.
Oh, he's number one right now. He's an honorary water slider.
Let's give him out. Oh, for sure. If you can
To
hit
Uncle
up
Mike.
to Uncle Mike.
He knows how to water slide. You could tell. He had
That
good
was a
form.
fantastic water slide.
He had good form. Don't do
Oh.
it. Don't start. Don't
Oh,
start.
I'm back. I'm back on
Don't
the
start.
strawberries. Oh, okay. I had a banana. I had a strawberry, and what's this one? Orange heart, or maybe it's a peach.
I think it's a peach.
I think it's a peach.
It has that good little color on the side.
Yeah. So and it's got like a little bit of like a bump on the side, so it looks like it's got the peach bum in it.
Peach bum in it.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch us eat runts. How good are runts, though?
This one is the best, man.
I told you. See, I
The
feel like
peach is the best.
if you really want to party, take a bag of runts down a water slide. They're really good. Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
What do you think's your favorite material to water slide in?
Material.
Yeah, like a Speedo or like a floppy baggy bottom.
I don't think I'd want to do it in a Speedo. Too much
Too
drip.
much skin.
Well, yeah, too much skin.
That's
Less
the
drag,
problem.
too much skin.
Yeah, that's fair. I almost broke my neck going too fast. Did I tell you that story? Are you sure I never told you this story?
Let's hear it.
Oh man, this is another
Were you
good
wearing a
water
Speedo?
sliding. No,
I have 2 Speedos.
that's tight. I don't have any. I just roll my pants up. So we're at the Sheraton
Like,
in Calgary,
yeah, Sheraton.
and me and the Knot Center going, and he's like, "Let's race for $20," and I'm like, "Oh, geez." Like I know he doesn't have $20, but I get competitive. So I'm like,
How do you
"All right."
tell? How do you tell when you get who wins? Is it
First to
timed?
the bottom. Yeah, let him go first. I
Is
was
it
gonna go around.
Is
him.
it dual
No, I'm
slides?
going right after him. I gave like 1 second, then here I go. And he's like, okay. And so for this water slide there, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So it's up at the top, and it goes down
Yes.
and around, then there's an up and then a zigzag. And through then over here is the hot tub area. So there's a hot tub area here, and there's a big wraparound right there. And then the landing zone over here and a kiddie pool over there.
Sure.
I gave him the 1 second. I'm like, all right, here we go. And I gave a full push. And
Yeah.
elbows and heels. And I went high like a bobsledder.
Yes.
Way too fast, and I realized I was going way too fast. I'm like, oh no, we're in big trouble now.
Did you try
Yes.
throwing the brakes? Sit up?
Yeah, but it was too late because I went one way, and I was already going too fast, so it went me way too high on this run.
Yeah.
I barely caught myself, came back down this way, went way too high on that one.
Oh, don't tell me you went over the edge.
Tripled up. Third one, went up all the way out of the chute,
Yeah.
and luckily it angled back in. And so I remember looking down and seeing the hot tub over here. It was like slow motion. I'm like, oh, that looks so comfortable. And I looked over here. I saw like a table with some food. I'm like, oh, onion rings. And then I came back down, and I yelled, like, rain. And I slammed my head like whiplash.
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
Like so hard. And I remember it felt like,
In the water?
no, in the water slide. So I almost landed on him. I dove out of the way. I just missed him from like
Yeah.
destroying him, almost landing on him.
You didn't hit your cousin?
No, not my cousin, my not son.
okay.
It's the stepson.
Okay.
We're getting real competitive.
Yeah, okay.
And so I went
Yes,
to dodge
right,
and I
right,
cracked my
right.
neck. And I remember,
Like, are you
played Mike
stepdad?
Tyson's?
Oh, yeah. Stepdad's going to crush you.
You ever play Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
No.
Okay, well, when you get a star, you got to hit it, guys, in certain spots at certain times, and it makes
Right.
this like beep sound.
Yes.
And when my head and my neck hit, I remember all I heard.
Did
my
you get a
whole,
concussion and hear
oh,
this
yeah,
sound?
It was bad. It went "Boo-doo-doo," and like my whole
Yes.
hearing shut down, and my whole body tingled,
Uh-huh.
and I was scared I was paralyzed. So I didn't want to move, so I was too scared to move, so I folded into the into the bottom of the pool. I was like, oh. And I was like, okay, I better move now.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, arms work, that's good. And then I stood up and my legs worked. I'm like, okay, the legs work. And I was
Can
like,
you
oh,
swim
but
at this point? Like, I'd be
No,
afraid of like.
no, I couldn't
like,
even stand
Are you
up.
sinking to the bottom of the
No.
of the pool?
I was standing. Luckily, it wasn't deep. And I remember getting over to the side of the pool.
Yes.
And just sitting there like this. And being
Just
like,
real
oh,
Joe
man,
Cool.
everyone's looking at me because it was so loud.
Yeah,
It
I'm doing
sounded
okay.
like somebody dropped out of the roof into the water slide. Like that's how hard I landed. The whole place shook.
Oof.
And I was conky. Like I don't remember much after that.
It's because you went
For like a
all the way
day.
on one side and then went all the way on the other side,
And
and then you're almost gonna hit.
It was like
your,
a double ramp.
Your
It was like this. So I went in like this.
The
like, oh no,
victim.
too fast.
Yes.
And then this way, way too fast.
Yes.
And then this way.
And you
out
had
of
to dodge the
control.
body.
And I had to dodge right here. So I dove to the side and went neck and head, boom. And then my body folded out like that. It was so sore. I couldn't move my neck for 2 days.
that's a wipeout.
Yeah, it was bad. It was real bad. This is why I love weekend shows with Seahawk.
Hey,
Anytime he comes in town, we get to fire up the water sliding bros stories. Again, a seasonal program that will be
It's
out at some
seasonal.
point once it's full. It's going to be fantastic. We have a whole audio program ready for you, seasonally. Peaches.
Peaches.
Yeah.
I just had the strawberry. Oh, it's not as good as the peach.
This is true. We're eating runs.
Yes. Hey man, I was actually working on 2 pieces that we can look at. One is my new puppy,
Yes, thank you. I'm going to get back to
Ripley.
that. Believe it or not.
Yep, believe it or not, I
Oh.
finally caved in. I'm like, I'm gonna take some responsibility here. I'm gonna, like, I'm ready for a dog. I take this thing out,
What kind
take
of dog
it
is
for
Ripley?
walks. He's miniature Bernedoodle. Super cute, man.
Mini Bernedoodle.
Mini Bernedoodle.
Mini Bernedoodle.
Yeah,
I
Ripley.
love it. Ripley.
Yeah.
Boy,
So I've been working
Girl.
with him.
Him.
Little boy.
he's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
I call him the sup pup.
Sup, pup?
Sup pup.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's almost like I was gonna call him like, I wonder if I should call him like sup dog.
Nah.
But he's still a pup. So he's sup pup.
Then people would always ask you, what's up, dog?
What's up, dog?
Not much. What's up with you?
What
Classic.
should be like the response on sup dog?
Not much. What's up with you?
What's up with you?
Yeah. I think
Okay,
that works.
yeah, that works. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's an
so
old joke.
I took him paddleboarding.
Oh, you know how I
I've
feel
been
about
training
paddle
him.
boards.
I know.
The only thing that can make
I
a
thought of
paddleboard
you when I was
cool
actually paddleboarding.
is if Ripley's on there. That's the only
And-
thing that could make paddleboarding cool. A cute little
Oh,
puppy on there.
dude.
Yeah.
Hey man, he's got to learn,
does
but
he
he's
love it?
making it. He's making. Yeah, he's gonna make it cool.
Of course.
He's still working on his balance. But
Well, isn't it your job to balance them?
wow, hey, I
You're not
tell him where
dunking
to.
your dog on purpose, are you?
No, man, no. I had one bad mishap.
Just
actually.
every time you fall over, oh, Ripley, come on.
Jam.
Man, I
Jam.
hate paddleboard.
I did have. You always ask me about crashes, like
Yeah,
what was
your
my
biffs.
last
Yes.
biff, and it was on the paddleboard with Rip.
What's the prop? Now you can give us a proper,
Okay, so
proper
here,
learning for
okay,
a proper fall on
yeah.
a paddleboard.
So here's a story.
Here we go.
I had like the last week at Candle at the cottage,
Yep.
paddleboarding, teaching Ripley how to paddleboard.
Okay.
Took him out a couple times.
Again,
and
Ripley is miniature.
Miniature
Labradoodle.
Bernedoodle. Yeah, my new
Labradoodle.
puppy, brand new, 2
Beautiful
weeks.
Ripley.
He's like, I've had him for 2 weeks.
Is he a 2-week-old puppy?
No, he's like 5 months old.
Oh, yeah, but still, yeah. Gotcha.
Almost 6, I
got
guess.
you.
But anyways, so he's hanging out with me, new puppy. I had Nixie hanging out with me, and we went for a paddle.
Got the whole
Yeah.
whole squad rolling.
Yeah, I rolled down. I got like a beauty beach cart to carry my stuff. It's a really good invention. It's my beach cruiser, and I took like a child carrier, and I put like metal pieces on it so I can carry 2 crafts. So I took a kayak, and I took my paddleboard and Ripley down to the beach, and so we're going around. He's doing pretty good. It's wavy, so I'm rolling around on the beach, and we started catching a wave, and we started heading into shore. Like we're riding a little bit of a wave,
Catching
a little
a
bit of a rip.
wave?
Yeah, they gave us wavy out there, so we're catching a little bit of a roller.
A
And
candle?
Yeah, a candle.
All right.
And I'm like, oh man, like this is it, man. Let's see if you can like handle a little bit of turbulence rolling into shore.
We've hit turbulence.
And he was doing great. He's right on the front of the board, man. He's tied in there. He's swaying. He's wet dog. And I'm
Does he look
paddling.
scared or is he
Yeah.
loving it? Is he just like,
he's like indifferent. I think he's like, oh,
he's
probably like,
pooping his little puppy
yeah, I
pants.
think so. I think he's having a
it's
little.
like, what the hell is happening right
Is this
now? That's
for
what I'd
real?
be saying if I was
Captain, are you taking
I was
us
a
down this
baby
way?
puppy. Yes, like come on, man.
And they probably look much bigger, right? Like
Yeah,
when I'm saying I'm
tiny.
riding a wave, it's like a little ripple behind me. I'm getting a boost. So, anyways,
In my head, this is playing out much bigger.
yeah, that's right.
I hear what you're saying though.
So we go, and all of a sudden we're getting shallower and shallower, and my rudder catches
Oh no.
a sandbar, and it goes to a complete stop.
Superman,
I
like when
get
you're going over
tossed.
the handlebars?
Yes, I Superman again. I just did like a really low dive into like the 1 foot of beach water, and I'm like, oh man,
Dude,
am I gonna
that's-
crush this my new puppy underneath me? So I throw my body. He ditches off to the same side as me.
Oh,
I
no.
go over top of him.
Okay, good.
Yeah, just,
That could have been dangerous. And again, that's
it
dangerous.
was jarring. It was a little bit jarring.
When you go
He
down,
was fine. I put him back on.
I've done that before where you go down and you don't get your arms out in front enough. You just go neck in. That's
Yes.
another one of those Mike Tyson
Yeah.
those moments where you're
Yeah.
just like, oh,
Oh, it jams your shoulder.
I hate all of it. Luckily, you had your head up. Always keep your head up.
I think
kids,
I
just like
was
when you're on the ice.
I was like a little bit hurting. I think whenever you fall to the ground, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Not off a paddleboard. Yours was like a stream case.
Dude. I felt like my body got pretty jammed up.
Would you say that you were sore for at least 2 days after this incident?
No, but like on the paddle back, I was like, oh man, like that's
Really wish I wouldn't have Superman over
like,
Ridley there.
what happened back there? I
yeah.
just like biffed. Oh,
Dude, sandbars are so dangerous. They have to post those better. That's a hot
I
take
think the
for you
problem
today.
is they're always moving, but you should know where they are.
Well, the locals all do. I'm just talking about like if you're in like a foreign place.
Yeah.
you
Oh
hit
yeah,
sandbars, man.
yeah,
It's
sure. Or
dangerous.
like rock reefs or whatever.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like you see a giant lake. It's like you can just go anywhere. Actually, no. If you don't stay between these two rocks, you're dead.
I think those are called rapids, man. You go down a river.
I went down
in
a
a
rapid.
canoe.
Man, they put me on the front of a rapid once.
Okay,
I went
wait,
white water rafting.
Oh yes,
It was so funny because I'd never done it before. And they're like, all right, well.
it's something you would never do on your own.
They put me up front. I was going. It was crazy. Unlike
Yes.
when we went canoeing and then you went
I was
overboard.
gonna bring up that story at some point. I think, yeah, I
don't
actually
know if we're ready for that story.
I had a canoe trip with a day trip with two of my daughters, my nephew and my niece, and my little sister.
Okay.
And it was like another wavy day. So we're like, oh,
Gonna
what do you
ride
do?
some
What do you
surf.
do on a windy day? Well, take out your kayaks. Take out your. We did four kayaks and one canoe, and we went through a little body of water that had some pretty wicked ripple, and it was hard, man. Like canoeing and paddling takes a little bit of energy.
Yeah. That's why I don't like doing it. It's the worst. It's hard in the back, too. Really hard in the back. Not for me.
But hey, think of the reward with it is you're out on water,
That's true. And it's a lot of fun when you're tied up together.
barging up.
Yeah. When you barge
Oh
up,
yeah.
it's fun.
The whole point is to find some part that you can just like chill on.
Yeah. And then when you have to untie, it's not fun. That's when you have to turn around and whoa.
I had a beautiful barge up this past weekend. I went out.
No way.
Yeah, I went out. We took the pontoon boat out on the water. The other neighbors took
I
the
couldn't
pontoon.
tell.
Yeah. Do you know what it says?
Pontoon Club.
Pontoon. Oh, that's what you said to me. Pontoon Club. Oh yeah.
Oh, my
Gotta
buddy
get your sea
Sexy Greg
legs.
says that. Yeah,
Okay,
that's a good one.
Okay,
Slow
it says,
motion.
read the bottom part.
We party in slow motion. That's tight.
That would
That's
be
good.
that would be the definition of my boat.
It's in a slow motion.
It's
pontoon.
slow. It's like a barge. Yeah, I'm just like plowing around. Anyways, we took the boat out. It ended up being like a little bit choppy, and then the wind died out for sunset.
Perfect.
And I filled up my boat. I had Nixie for the week, hanging out with Dad. So we invited the neighbors out onto the boat there at Candle there.
Yeah.
And it was super fun. And we rolled in and barged up with my other neighbors. They had like the rest of the block on there. We had a little.
Yeah.
We call it the sunset cruise, and we barged up.
Nice.
Nothing better than barging up.
It's a great barge. It's
We-
it's just more manpower for more party time.
It's more. You can jump from boat to
Boat
boat.
to boat, baby.
Yeah, I dived in. I always go for a swim.
Oh yeah.
There's
I'm thinking about people that go boat to boat and use the bathrooms.
what?
It's more of a houseboat thing, I think.
Oh, I got you, man.
Party trucks like upper deckers.
I can see that happening.
I think so.
I think here. What if you had a candle in your bathroom? I like to light a candle.
Wow. Tell me more about this. When did that start?
If you have a bathroom that's
It's like for like a stinky bathroom.
yeah, like if you have a
Light a
bathroom that's
candle.
used by multiple people, like yeah, hence my little cabin there. When I host people, it's like, oh man, one bathroom.
You put a
Everyone's,
candle
like,
in the bathroom.
Yeah, I put a candle, light it up.
What kind of candle?
It's got to be scented.
What's your favorite scent?
This one is
Do you know
green.
Do you know what mine is?
What's that?
Fitty.
What?
My favorite scent.
City?
Fitty.
Fitty? How do you spell that? Does it start with an F?
F-I-F-T-Y.
F-I-F-T-Y. Fitty?
Scent. Okay?
Fitty scent. Yeah. What about
Gonna party like it's your birthday. Shout out Fitty.
Fitty scent?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it smells like? Is it musty?
No, man, I know exactly what it'd be.
What's
It'd be a mixture
Yeah.
of both weed smoke and bullet smoke.
Ooh.
It's hard. I love
That's
Fitty.
too hard.
Dude,
That's too
He got
hard.
shot 9 times, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
'Cause he's hard. He's from the streets.
Oh man, I don't like that violence, man.
Man, do you know what I do like?
What's that?
Hanging out with Seahawk on the
Yes,
weekends as
on
we
the weekends.
continue the Water Sliding Bros seasonal program
Yes.
that'll be coming out, whenever the first season is complete. Audio only, you can find them everywhere. I really do love that man. The great Seahawk from the Water Sliding Bros. You heard the outro there. I forgot that 50 cent joke was really good. about your favorite scent as far as candles go and having it be fitty. Pretty good stuff. Weed smoke and bullet holes. What a great show. Thank you to everybody who helped out today. The great LB in the booth, greatest man in the universe. Love and appreciate you so much, brother. He's the guy that got that Zoom not only up and on, but working to perfection. This guy, the great Adrian Balarzon, who joins us every Wednesday to kick off the show from beautiful Australia. Another great talk with him. And to you, as always, for being a part of this. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. like we always do. We'll check in with CTV's Matt Young. Coach number 2 is going to be by, and oh, so much more. Until that point, remember, karma is very, very real. I like to end the show saying this because more than ever, the world needs some good karma. All right, so when you start doing good things, you'll notice they'll start happening to you. That's what we are all about around here. So keep that in mind as you make your way out into this hump day evening. And again, have a great one out there, all right? We'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic Wednesday.